Next on Good Morning El Paso, new details in a deadly wreck that killed 3 people on Christmas Eve. Could evidence against a suspected drunk driver be thrown out?
I just sit here and talk to her and tell her how much I miss her and how much her dad misses her and how we wish she was home.
And we hear from a mother who lost her own daughter to a drunk driver, what she had to say about the deadly wreck that happened Christmas Eve. And new developments in the missing Air Asia plane in Indonesia. Bodies were recovered, confirming the worst fears from the families.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
A very good morning, El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Denise Olivas. Hillary Florin and Stephanie Valle have the day off. Let's go ahead and take a live look right now this morning from our exclusive ABC7 mountain cam. That's up on the Franklins. The time now 6:01, and we are under a first alert for the rest of the week due to the cold temps headed our way. So now let's get straight to Storm Track meteorologist Crystal Pikes. It's already shaping up to be a busy morning in the weather lab. Good morning, Crystal.
Good morning, Denise. We are talking cold temps not due to one but two cold fronts that are going to move through our area. One today, the next Thursday, your New Year's Day. The result is going to be today we look at windy weather and then a very cold overnight. Let's check out your temperatures this morning, though. It's already cold conditions. 35 in El Paso and 28 in Las Cruces. We're 18 degrees for Ruidoso, 24 Deming, and 23 Silver City. As we mentioned, today it's windy and cooler than yesterday. Tonight, still windy with those wind chill temperatures, something we'll have to deal with, plus very cold air dropping us into the 20s and icy conditions with some sleeting or a rain snow mix possible a little farther east of El Paso, that edge of El Paso County, more so into Hudspeth, Culberson County. By Wednesday into your Friday, that's when we see the chance of rain and then a rain-snow mix in the forecast. The best shot of snow being your New Year's Day into Friday. We'll talk more about those chances coming up in just a few minutes.
And don't forget to send us your weather pictures or video. You can email them to weather@KVIA.com or post them on our Facebook page and Twitter. Remember, you are part of the Storm Track weather team through our social media network. And now we are learning new details about the crash that killed 3 people on Christmas Eve. The man accused of causing it, 24-year-old Joel Garcia, has been charged with DWI. The affidavit states Garcia had his blood drawn without a warrant, and Garcia was allegedly speeding when he ran a red light at Joe Battle and Vista del Sol in East El Paso. His car T-boned another vehicle with 3 people inside: Isaiah Deal, his brother Joshua, and Joshua's girlfriend Shannon Del Rio. All died at the scene. According to documents, an order to draw Garcia's blood was given before the warrant paperwork was completed, because Garcia was on the verge of receiving medication that would alter his blood chemistry. And now keep this in mind, taking blood samples from suspected drunk drivers without a warrant has been ruled unconstitutional. ABC7's Ashley Rodriguez reports on the legal issues that could impact the case.
Last month, the Court of Criminal Appeals ruled that taking blood samples from suspected drunk drivers without a warrant is unconstitutional. But that didn't stop El Paso police on Christmas Eve. So I asked them why.
You want to rely on the people with authority to make sure things are done without error, so that way there's no question.
Defense attorney Joshua Spencer says there's no reason to take a suspected drunk driver's blood without a warrant.
Getting a blood draw is a violation of a person's privacy because of actually having to penetrate skin.
But under the law, according to the El Paso District Attorney's Office, a warrant for a blood draw is not needed if the individual gives consent or if the peace officers believes there are exigent circumstances. Exigent meaning emergency situations. An individual officer can determine when there is an exigent circumstance. However, the decision to conduct a search without a warrant will be reviewed by a police supervisor to ensure compliance with case law.
I want the search warrant and I haven't signed it.
Garcia, according to El Paso police, was in an emergency situation. A spokesperson told ABC7 an officer was at the police station writing a search warrant affidavit when it was learned Mr. Garcia was about to be given medication that would contaminate any future blood samples for evidentiary purposes.
No, I don't buy that at all. Everybody should do their part without having to have any question as far as was that process done correctly. It was due process done correctly.
Spencer says in any jurisdiction, there's always an on-call judge available to approve search warrants in minutes. Not only that, but according to the police affidavit, Garcia ended up refusing any medical treatments and left the hospital with his blood being unaltered by medication. But El Paso police say Texas law allows an officer to obtain blood without a warrant when the defendant had been involved in an accident causing serious bodily injury or death. Spencer said it will be up to the local court to decide how to apply the law and to determine whether a warrantless blood sample has any impact on the case. Reporting for Good Morning El Paso, Ashley Rodriguez, ABC 7.
And ABC 7 spoke with the mother of Valerie Talamantes, the 19-year-old killed by a drunk driver 7 years ago. She tells us about her last conversation she had with her daughter.
I went in there and told her, I said, I love you, baby. I said, we're going to go see your grandma. I'll be right back. And her last words to me were, I love you. So in her own way, she said goodbye to me.
And last night, Grace Talamantes held a vigil for her daughter. The vigil held at the site of the crash every year has become a way to cope with the loss. The wound is made worse though when she hears of other lives lost, like 3 young people hit and killed on Christmas Eve.
There's 2 other families going through the pain that we've had to endure because of the senseless decision that somebody decided to get behind the wheel after drinking. It's angering because it's something that's so preventable. We all share the roads and we're all at risk of one day either not making it home or losing a loved one.
Edison Bayas, the driver who crashed into Valerie, is serving a 15-year prison sentence from the drunk driving wreck. Valerie's mom says she's forgiven him and now works for Mothers Against Drunk Driving, trying to prevent other tragedies. And now to news developing out of Indonesia. 6 bodies have been recovered from the Java Sea, confirming the worst about the fate of AirAsia Flight 8501. According to Indonesian officials, the bodies were found 6 miles from where the plane lost communication with air traffic control. 162 people were on board the plane that vanished early Sunday. Officials still don't know how the jetliner vanished after takeoff. Of course, we'll continue our coverage later in this newscast, but again, 6 bodies have been recovered. And back here in the borderland, we're learning more about the child who went missing for nearly 3 hours early yesterday morning in Chaparral. Otero County Sheriff's officials say the 3-year-old boy was reported missing at around 12:30, and he was found 3 hours later walking along a street a couple of blocks away from his home. Good thing here he was not hurt, and authorities say he wandered off while his mother was taking care of her other child. Well, this upcoming new year will bring a lot of new laws and legal changes, and there will even be more on the horizon for some local businesses. Good morning, El Paso's Andrew J. Polk is live with the story. Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah, good morning, Denise. As you prepare to ring in the new year, also be ready for the new laws going into effect. Here in El Paso, smoking of any kind, including vapor and e-cigarettes, will be banned at city-owned indoor and outdoor facilities, including parks. City Council added vaping, e-cigs, and hookah to the city's existing smoking bans over the summer, but there will also be big changes coming for the local smoking industry here in El Paso later on this coming year. Now, those same ordinance changes City Council put into place this year included new requirements for air handling at smoke shops and hookah lounges. That means that these businesses will have to have separate air filtration systems installed by July 1st to continue operation. There were no previous requirements for smoke shops or hookah lounges, some of which share ventilation systems with adjacent businesses in strip malls. And elsewhere in the borderland, Las Cruces businesses are also preparing for the coming year's minimum wage increases. Some business owners are eagerly anticipating the increase, while others say they may have to raise prices or cut back on hours as a result. Denise?
All right, thank you for that, Andrew. And now it's time to take a look at the TxDOT traffic camera network right now. West El Paso, I-10 and Arcraft, traffic picking up just a little more. I-10 and Red, also a few more cars now out on the roadways. You can see there's still pretty dark outside, and as you head out this morning, make sure you take your time. The time now is 6:09, and how would you like to live right next to the downtown ballpark? And that may be an option or a reality very soon. We get a sneak peek at how the proposed apartments could look like. And new concerns are growing over this year's flu after it's already claimed the lives of a couple children. Why some say it's the worst they've seen in years. And if you're just joining us, we are under a first alert. Meteorologist Crystal Cly has your complete forecast. Crystal.
That first alert in effect for a variety of things: winds, cold weather, and even potentially snow. We'll look at when each has the chance coming up after your break.
This is ABC 7, where news comes first.